I've spent my working career on the trade floor. I like the hype and the energy.
There's only one bottom line on Wall Street, and that bottom line is how much money you make.
This is one of the most stressful jobs on earth. We have stress every single second. Not everybody can survive.
Greed ugly. Make as much money as you can so that you can get out of there before it turns you to the dark side. Boom. Take it. 50 bucks. Come on, take it out. Ah, 2%. Someone came. There you go. Boom. Wow, that was close. I made 20 bucks. It's been 19 minutes since the market has opened. So far, I've made $715 for the day. My best day, I made around $350,000. I remember just sitting in my room for quite a while, just digesting it to make sure this was real. My worst day was down $108,000. Oh, yeah, sounds good. Tonight, I'm throwing a big ass rooftop party. You know, I invite about 100 people. We'll see how many people actually show up. Hopefully, it turns into a girls on Mal video. Here it goes. No, it's fading a little bit. I don't have long bias on stock all day. I'm going to buy it on weakness because the other will buy it on weakness. So, since that's self-going prophecy, the other buying on weakness, I'm buying on weakness. It'll bounce on. I expect big things today. You know, maybe not $100,000 a day, but get up 10, 20,000.
My name is Ted Smith. My job description is on a portfolio where I bet on trading for the New York Stock Exchange for 38 years. I never thought when I was 29 years old I'd still be there when I was 66. The stock market or the stock exchange is a giant auction market where buyers and sellers meet. Companies sell stock to raise capital so they can grow and expand their businesses. The stocks themselves are literally pieces of paper that represent ownership in those companies, and companies sell the stock to the public to raise money to run their businesses. And the stocks will open down as a reflection on a company's ability to in fact put that capital to good use. There are many facets of the stock exchange that I think are extremely important to the rest of the public. Number one is visibility. There is the tape which we take for granted, which basically records every transaction tape on the trading floor. And that tape that you see in California or New York is the same tape that you see in Hong Kong or Oakland, New Zealand. So transparency, I think, is key to investor confidence. You might not like the price, you can see the price.
Ну что, едешь, ты мало заберешь? Да, уже приезжаем, кому экзит. Почему 30 минут? А? Okay, хорошо. I grew up in Russia. In the I get to say I got my driver's license, started driving the cab. And in 1995, I decided to go on Wall Street. I was a stockbroker for a few months, didn't really like it. And then I went to a day trading business, checked what I fell in love from first day I went to the office. Day traders considered to be this person, probably more than 100 trades a month. We probably doing 5 to 500,000 trades a day. So we consider ourselves a professional trader. There's been 10,000 people clear. I always know when to get in, I always know when to get out. I think first a lot of people cannot succeed in their business because just they're not disciplined enough. So today, I'm going to trade for our downtown office. We have two of them, Midtown and downtown. In 11 years that I've been in the day trading business, I would say I do know a lot of information. We'll take this chart. It's a gold chart. I cannot say that I would be too smart and short it right there. It wouldn't be a reason for it. But I know one thing for a fact. When the gold is collapsed, and it's a big, this is a 25% downside. Somewhere in this area, I would just be ready to buy. Somewhere in this area, I would be ready to buy. Yep, yeah, what's up? When you spend 11 years, every single day, 250 trading days a year, you're gonna start to understand what really is going on. At least you're gonna have a feel for it. Good luck to you too.
So I'm kind of in between appointments and I'm going to see a financial astrologer. I have no clue what to expect and I'm a little bit skeptical.
Hi, Sandy, how you doing? I'm glad you, glad you made it. Come on inside. I was a professional astrologer since 1967, and I started coming into the markets on October 20th, 1987, because we knew about the stock market crash a year in advance to the day. We're good at what we do.
Is there a good book to read for Wall Streeters?
Well, obviously, I would naturally recommend my own, which is Investing by the Stars. My mother said it was very good, and she understood it.
Okay. What you told me when I met you was that you're an astrologer.
Right, financial astrologer.
What exactly is that?
We basically look at planetary patterns and we correlate them to stock market activity.
How can that be correlated?
You know, remember, astrology is a mathematical science.
Is that really fair to say that it's a science because there's no way to really
Yes, it's
verify?
First of all, there are many ways. Science is a body of knowledge organized according to general principles. My background is in mathematics and psychology. And astrology is a mathematical psychology based on astronomy. So we take data like this, for example, which gave us information that the market would be down today, which is something you probably wouldn't know how to interpret. And then we put it together, and then we have an opinion about what the market's doing and when. And we sort of trade accordingly.
Do money managers actually come to you and ask you for a horoscope, and how much is that?
Well, first of all, we have clients that are everything from very wealthy individuals to fund managers where we think we normally can improve their performance 5 to 20%. What we charge depends on services. Like we have, for example, a company coming to me, and we're going to probably make them about $40 million. I'm trying to figure, and they're offering me maybe 100, 150, and I don't think I'm going to accept it. Only, not that 150,000 is not a lot of money, but we're going to make them $40 million.
That's huge.
That's right. So we're worth a lot. We're underpaid. I agree.
I didn't say that.
I said it.
Dead cat bounce. It sounds gross, but what it refers to is if a stock is sold off really sharply and then has a little bit of a bounce back up. As in, hey, don't buy into that dead cat bounce or you're going to end up as roadkill.
I come to the stock exchange trading floor a little after 9 every morning. My son is here. He's also a broker on the floor. As a member of the stock exchange, I come here to represent the clients of our firm, and in that capacity, I am their agent. The orders start coming, and they're buy orders and sell orders, and you're watching the tape, you're watching the news ticker. If you have sell orders and the market's going up, that's great. If you have buy orders and the market's going up, that's not so good, because that means everything becomes a little harder to buy. But the orders come, we go to the trading crowd, we will execute that order. It's all done electronically. It takes milliseconds, in fact, to complete it from the time we get it to the time the customer gets the report. And then, of course, you just keep moving, and hopefully you're going to be busy all day, and you really don't have time to think.
This stock is just heartbreaking. Oh, this is tough. I am down $28 on the day. This stock that I thought was going to be a strong stock has proven itself to be the exact opposite. Question is, how much pain can you handle and for how long? I can't handle that much pain. I don't like losing. This is a 15% drop in the NASDAQ, one of the largest drops in the past 10 years. And it's happened quick, so there is definitely a lot of fear in the market. This stock is tanking right now, and it's just gonna get weaker because there it goes. As I'm talking, this thing dies. Hey, now I'm down 800 on the day.
Since 1999, I haven't had a losing month. Every month, I would take $1, $2, 50 cents, a penny, but it's always going to be a green, it's always going to be above zero. That's the most important thing for me. Today is not going to be the day of losing. I have a very strict rules about it. If I'm down more than 15 or 20% from the top money that I make, I would probably stop trading for 30 minutes, just go outside, get some Dunkin' Donuts. If you learn how not to lose, you will be ending up making money. At least if you learn how to invest properly, you can always make money on your money.
So if astrology provides so much insight, I would assume that you should have been able to accumulate great wealth.
You only get what's promised in your horoscope, so maybe it's not in my horoscope to be wealthy.
But you invest by the stars.
We don't foresee everything. Astrology is not the be-all and end-all. Astrology is the single best tool in the market, but doesn't do everything, and it's not a perfect science. If astrology was a perfect science, then every astrologer you know would be very rich, have a private Rolls-Royce and a private Learjet. Now, that's not the case, so obviously there's a little bit more involved. For example, if you were born 10 minutes earlier, you'd be a different person.
Do you feel that I'm a Taurus?
Do I feel you're a Taurus? I'd have to hold your hands and do some things we can't do on camera because this is not X-rated to know if you're really a Taurus. I usually tell people, I don't guess height, I don't guess weight, and I don't guess signs, but I guess sex, which I do very well, except in the West Village. Sometimes I have trouble there. Do you understand the joke? You should be laughing more. Okay. Mike, can you run off the natal chart? Excuse me a second. I'll see if we can give you your forecast.
I have just completely flipped my strategy because this stock has been so weak. It wasn't just me that was thinking this is going to be a strong stock, so now everyone is kind of shell-shocked. And once it takes out the day low, a lot of people that are long this stock, that are betting that it's going higher, will look at this point and have their stop losses there. And if we can take out those stop losses, it's almost like surfing because you're really just riding the wave. Since you're betting that it's going down, you know all these orders are going to make it go down. There's no reason why this stock can't be down $3, $4, $5 a share today. Not taking out the level. Oh, took it out. 1,700 shares short. I'm in a bank right now. This is when you start to get cocky. Come on. Green for the day, baby. Yeah, big money. 55 bucks.
I have to say I'm much more comfortable with astrology in the personal realm rather than, predicting the markets with it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Do something else. You can ask anything you like. I'll give you one question. You know how you get 3 wishes? I won't give you 3 wishes.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll ask you one question, anything you want to know about anything. So what you do is hold on to this dice, the astrological dice. And I want you to think about the question. Okay, it can be any question you want. When you're thinking about the question, roll the dice. Okay, now I'm going to give you some general things. Okay, the answer here is Pisces, which means it's still a question. Venus, which could be about love or relationships. And 9th out of distance.
It is relationship related.
You want to be a little more specific, so I can give you a more specific answer?
No, I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. We all have questions.
I'm just curious if it's going to work out.
Be idealistic about it and don't aim low.
Don't aim low?
Don't aim low. Just let your imagination be your guide and aim very high.
Yes, I'm single. And I'm going out with, prospects.
Mike, I need an astrocartography report for this charming lady. Oh, how lovely. Just so you know, you have Sagittarius rising in the galactic center, and you also have Moon in Virgo.
But that's all superficial. I'm just wondering, is there going to be a real substantial
Well, that's up to you. Remember, the stars impel, they do not compel. They just give you opportunities. It doesn't mean you're going to take advantage of it.
Oh, I'm certainly the type who takes advantage of opportunities.
That's about it. I don't see more in the relationship in 2005, but you can be changing careers with
2006, you mean?
He did 2005 here. I'm sorry.
Why?
Well, actually, we'll have to. Mike! Whoop. Mike! Why'd we do this for 2005? Just give me 2007, please. Well, same thing. All it's telling you is you're going to change jobs. Another way this could be interpreted is go find a boss you'd like to marry and go work for him and then marry him.
But that was like 10 pages and you gave me 1 sentence.
That's all right. Well, I'll tell you what. You read all the 10 pages yourself. You can take it home. Take it home with you.
Will I be able to understand it?
Yeah, it's in English.
Well, I think Henry's a very interesting, eloquent guy, and a lot of the things that he says make sense, but I remain skeptical. I think it's a charming concept and it's definitely entertaining, but I wouldn't invest by the stars.
You little bitch of a stock. Now at 2:52 p.m., with an hour to go, I'm down 3,600 on the day. My dream stock for the day is just proven completely worthless. Right here you can see in the afternoon it cracked the day's low at 91.20, went straight to 90.20. So this was a nice little short here, which I got some of. But I still thought the stock was going lower, and right here, this little bump up is where I just got I went short right around here. A little too soon because I covered right here, and this was a $4,000 loss. This is why trading is so tough. I was completely right on the price, but I couldn't handle the pain. I had a $500,000 position, which was a much bigger position than I wanted to take. And I just averaged up wrong. And now the stock is acting perfectly. Would have been about a $10,000 profit right now, had I had the balls to hold. Oh, I did today.
There is nothing in Wall Street that rewards you for difficulty. It's one of my great attractions to this business. It rewards sagacious laziness.
Going through my dirty laundry to find a shirt to wear on this big meeting with this billion-dollar babe, and my mom didn't come in and do laundry this weekend, so I got no clean laundry. Here we go. Beautiful. This shirt isn't too wrinkled. You can see what kind of operation I'm running. My suit's just a mess, but it doesn't matter. You know, you can work in your underwear and make more money than somebody with a $5,000 suit. It's all about presentation, and that's not my forte, but trading is, and that's what really matters.
I'm on my way to meet with Tim Sykes. He's a 25-year-old hedge fund manager, up and coming. He sounds very bright. I haven't met with him before, but from what I hear, he's been quite successful.
Sandy is pretty big time. She's in charge of quite a bit of money. I'm gonna get my story out there, and I'm gonna, I don't know, try and get some money out of her, see if she has any contacts, see if she knows anybody. We'll see what she can do. You know, I hear she's a pretty attractive woman, so if I don't get the money, then maybe I can get the girl. Either way, we're gonna have a good lunch and talk about myself, which I'm pretty good at doing. It's my favorite subject. Cheers.
Cheers. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Thank you for meeting me.
So, where were you before? Where did you start out?
From 1999 to 2002, I traded my way from $12,000 to a fully audited pre-tax sum of $1.65 million. So with that...
Are you serious?
100% serious.
And what do you invest in? What's your strategy?
Short selling, short bias, small cap, micro cap. I mean, I'm never going to be more than a $100 million fund. It's tough.
That's your maximum capacity?
Yes.
And why is that?
Because I'm shorting the smallest and most volatile stocks. So, A, they're hard to borrow. B, they're volatile as hell. And C, I have no corporate experience.
And you don't have an office, you work from home?
I work from home.
And what do you do, like, on days when there's no trading?
I usually read. I mean, I can't read fiction. I love nonfiction.
Same.
Really?
Yes.
You should see my library. Yeah, I'm on 46nd and 2nd. This is my neighborhood.
Well, we should have lunch more often.
We should.
I remember when I came in the business, there was a person, he would always say, day traders would never make money. They're ending up, you know, making zero or making very little money. But there's a beautiful thing about this business. You don't depend on anybody. You are who you are, and if you really want to succeed, you can really make it. You make money, you lose money, it doesn't matter. When life is good, that's the most important thing.
Well, it was a great pleasure to meet you.
No, thank you for meeting with me.
Yeah, it was a great pleasure. I had fun. Thank you for lunch.
No problem.
And everything sounds very intriguing. I'll run it by Bridge Tag, and then I'll be in touch with you, I'd say, within the next week.
Okay, that sounds good. Do I have your card?
I think you do.
I think I don't.
Let me give it to you.
Please, do. I think that was a good meeting. I think I got my point across of what I'm trying to do. And I think I got a date. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Give me another drink. I only had one drink.
A lot of people don't want to work on Wall Street because it's kind of geographically undesirable in terms of New York City, but this is a pretty cool part of New York. Manhattan grew from the Battery up. And yes, that's why the streets are also narrow, because they actually used to be cow paths. And Wall Street was, in fact, there was a wall there that kept the Indians, I guess, from attacking the Pilgrims and the Dutch and anybody else that was kind of sequestered in lower Manhattan. Clearly, the stock exchange as an institution is absolutely the cornerstone of capitalism in this country and perhaps the world. I mean, it is the footprint that every democratic country and society in the world has tried to mimic.
Party on the rooftop! Yeah, 46 and 2nd. Let's go to the roof. The roof. There's 5 girls in the bathroom? That's kind of cool. Go into your bathroom. They locked it. What's up? Hi. How's it going? How are you? Take off your shirt. You know, I'm really the only one making money of any of my friends, so I feel it's my duty to be the godfather of throwing parties for everybody, or else no one would go out.
Not everybody on Wall Street makes a lot of money.
Disagree. I'm already making more money than every single person here right now.
Almost.
And with the exception of Tim.
Right. I mean, for Christ's sake.
Yo, what's up, buddy?
99% of the best stories I have are with Tim. Typical freshman year story, you know, everybody's cramped up in a tight building, and I just happened to get in a room with this crazy Jewish kid, Tim, who made $500,000 in 1 week. The crowning moment after we made all this money, he's like, let's take the whole dorm out to dinner. So I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, we're going to round up everybody, we're taking them all out to dinner. So here we are, this hodgepodge mess of kids, rolling into a super nice restaurant in Boston. And Tim's like, I got everything, don't worry about it.
Tim has a lot of potential. I hate to use the word boy wonder because he's not really a boy, but I could see his brilliance right away.
We took a poll and we decided who wants to date Tim.
Wow.
I know he's going places.
I just heard he was great in bed.
Thanks for coming to my party.
Well, when I was like 8 years old, I wanted to come to the States. I can't really say that I was dreaming of Wall Street when I was 8.
Yes! Polka TV. It's the next big thing. Polka, polka, polka. I need my accordion to go polka, polka, polka. Please use that, please.
There's only one bottom line on Wall Street, and that bottom line is how much money you make.
You've got to be smart, you've got to be quick. If you see something, you've got to act upon it. So much opportunity, and you've got to have the edge.
I love my job. We're always bumping and pushing and shoving and shouting at each other. But at the end of this day, we're still comrades in arms.
Greed is ugly. Make as much money as you can so that you can get out of there before it turns you to the dark side.
This means buy. That's sell. My name is John Hanneman, and I'm a commodity floor broker at the COMEX division of the New York Mercantile Exchange. That means I can trade base metals, copper, alley, I can trade gold, silver, options. Over there they're trading, right now cotton is open, they trade cocoa, they trade sugar, coffee, orange juice. And what you see here, then this row is all metals. Silver, gold, copper. This is what I call my home. In my office, the phones and I have in that booth, some of them go to Paris, some of them go to London, many of them go to Chicago. I do business with scrap dealers, hedge funds, hedge traders, individuals. It's a broad audience that we do business for here. And once you pass the copper ring, now you go to the gold ring, which is what we call the fifth currency in the world, which is very sensitive to the value of the dollar. Further on, you have the silver market, which is more of a commercial market than the gold market. I've been a member since 1970. I'm probably the oldest active commodity floor broker in New York.
My name is Shanaz Hussain, and I'm a trader. I'm originally from London, and I'm 31 years old. I trade the Shats on the Forex exchange, and I've been doing that for approximately 7 years.
For Shanaz to focus on the Schatz, a specific type of German fixed income security, there's a reason there. It's to sort of hone all the forces you can muster in on one specific security and becoming the expert on how that thing moves, because it's moving all day.
The prime reason I got into finance was the money. I have a goal where I say this is how much money I'd like to make every year, and then I'll break it down to monthly, weekly, and daily. I don't try and trade out of my reach. I say, okay, this is what I'm capable of doing. I'm an independent trader, which means I trade my own money. Since I've been trading on my own, I've done pretty well. My returns are pretty high. Unbelievably high. There is a lot of luck involved. Sometimes I'll just go in and make money literally just like that, and I'm like, what did I do? It just happened. But you've got to be smart, because I click trade, so you've got to be able to change your mind very quickly, because that's how the markets react to you. If you see something, you've got to act upon it there and then. You've got to remember there are a lot of other people out there doing the same thing as you. You've got to have the edge.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, things are all right. You know, trading is chugging along, but yeah, I mean, things are going well. It's just going to take a few months to turn around. Yeah. No, we do have this one position that's losing money. It really is a great company, and even though it is down quite a bit off its highs, I mean, the market is complete shite lately. Yeah. No, I really believe the fund has a great future here. It's really all upside from here. Yeah. It's really not as bad as it seems. I know the stock is down, but it's meaningless right now until you see some results. I definitely wouldn't suggest selling right now. Yeah. No, I understand. Okay. Yeah. I'll email it. Yeah, it's in PDF. Just sign it and fax it back to me. That'll be your 30 days notice. You can take it back at any time. You know, I like your money. I like you. All right. I'll email you the form. Okay. Bye.
I'm having lunch today with a group of top-notch portfolio managers. They meet on a regular basis to discuss the markets, and I want to ask them their opinions on which qualities to look for in the very best managers.
In this business, 5% of investors know what they're doing, 10% follow the 5%, and 85% have an extremely difficult time.
What do you think are the most important qualities that an individual portfolio manager must have?
It's fortitude and patience, because there's going to be times where you have to be patient, let things play out, and then the ability to take a lot of pain.
Perfect your style. You can make money as a day trader, you can make money as a momentum player, you can make money as a deep value player. You just got to stay with your strengths. I think that's very important.
One of the characteristics that a good money manager needs is an evaluation of management. You have to psychologically understand them and understand their strategy. My favorite companies are those that have bad balance sheets with absolutely crackerjack management, by my analysis. That's where you really make the money, especially when people don't believe them and they trade them down to pennies. You buy it when nobody else wants it, and then all of a sudden you have on your hands a stock which is up, can go up 100, 200, 500 times. Now, they're not easy to find, but the micro cap, the small cap area, that's where the real value is, in my opinion. And I see 250 to 300 CEOs a year that I visit with. You need a contrarian flavor to your thinking process. When everybody says it's bad, that's the time to look at them.
Request that we have dessert.
Very interesting.
Oh, he's gonna get his money out. And that sucks. The fund is down about 300 grand this month alone, which is what has got all the investors flipping out because of this position that I took. One time I went long for a while, and this is the price I'm paying. He's a $250,000 investor, so he's a pretty large investor. And it happens, you know, I've lost investors before. God. He hasn't even lost any money. He's just lost confidence. This is Wall Street. Wall Street is about perception. When you're down this much in 1 month, why trust a 25-year-old working out of his apartment?
Naked short. It may sound pornographic. What it actually refers to is when you sell short a security that you have not properly borrowed. Hence, when you sold it, you were naked. Naked short.
I'm an independent floor broker. I trade copper. One contract of copper is 25,000 pounds. And every time I do a trade, I have to transcribe that on a trading pad with the time, within a minute. That card will be picked up by these people with the yellow jackets down here, and also key punched by my employees who entered into a matching system to make sure we don't have any errors. So everybody knows within 15 minutes the financial integrity of the trade. We're always bumping and pushing and shoving. It gets quite heated. We have very stringent rules on physical altercations here. A couple of weeks ago, we had somebody choking somebody else, and we had them both removed from the floor until we found out, you know, who was the culprit and what caused it. And he'll be very heavily fined. I mean, we're yelling and we're shouting at each other. But at the end of this day, we're still comrades in arms. I mean, it's like family. I would consider this my family.
I'm here waiting for this guy. He raises money for hedge funds, and hopefully he likes my fund enough to raise money for me. Everybody wants the millions, but it's a question of, are you going to get them? Are you worthy of getting any money? Most people think you need a big-time office and big-time employees and big-time technology, and I've proven over the past few years that all you need is a little talent, a little luck, and a little philosophy. But I got to make my case and tell him what I do and make him believe I am worthy.
In manager selection, what do you think I should be looking for?
An independent intellect is what's most important, not a follower. I had a Chinese fellow in the other day, and I wanted to see what this fellow's really made of, you know? And the Chinese are inscrutable. You don't really get that answer just by looking him in the face, right? So I attacked him with an aggressive approach on certain touchy subjects in the economy in China. He got all upset and excited, and I found out what he was made of. And I bought the stock, of course, for my clients. A very sharp, excellent businessman who knows his stuff. And I wouldn't have never found that out just by asking mundane questions without insulting him. But that's what's important, to understand the man. Is this man the right man to do the job? You have to be able to discern what is real information and what is just puff.
I'm not going to trade today. I'm going to attend a seminar. It's called Derivatives World. I'm on my own, so it's important for me to keep up to date with what's going on outside, who my competitors are. I want to catch up with one of the executive board members of the Forex Exchange who'll be able to answer some of my questions that I have with regards to the product I trade. And there's service providers that I use, and I know them personally, so I'll meet up with them.
So electronic trading, this is what it's all about.
The cool thing is that it recalculates, asks you to change the different parameters.
It's a man's world. It definitely is a man's world. It's funny, sometimes I'm out and, you know, just to make myself feel comfortable, and I know I shouldn't have to do this. I mean, you know, I'm not afraid, but at times I just tell people I'm a secretary or a PA because people feel more comfortable talking to me. But then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to tell you what I really do, and it's people just switch off. It's like they don't know how to talk to me. I've had comments like people say to me, oh, I've been talking down to you. You know, they'll say things like that, and I'll say to myself, that's a real stupid thing to say. Like, you're talking down to me, big deal, just talk to me like a person. Back in 2001, a lot of people made money very easily. The markets were very good. Now, there are a lot more players, definitely. I mean, at one point, I was anywhere from 10 to 15% of the volume of that particular contract. Now, I'm lucky if I'm 1%. I've had bad days where I've lost money, where the average person here in the United States would not probably make for 5 years.
So tell me about your strategy.
My strategy, it's short bias. You know, I'm shorting small cap and micro cap stocks just when they run up. You know, there's a lot of manipulation in the micro cap and small cap area, a lot of hype, a lot of retail euphoria. A lot of people get emails and text messages and phone calls the night before saying, oh, buy this stock, it's going up. And they see it going up and they buy the stock. And I look for these inefficiencies to short into these fundamentally flawed companies. It's very unsophisticated, the marketplace that I deal in.
I'm going to see Jim Rogers. He's one of the legendary investors of our times, and he started the Quantum Fund with George Soros in 1973, and for the remainder of the decade, they had an unbelievable return of 4,000%.
Let's go.
Thank you. Wow. This is certainly an entrance. Wow.
Thank you.
This is unique. I've never seen this in New York.
All of this stuff comes from my travels from various places around the world.
You started the legendary Quantum Fund with George Soros in the early 70s and did that for 10 years. Why did you stop doing that? Why did you quit?
One reason I quit was because I didn't want to wake up at age 75 and they would say Rogers was a great investor. That's all he ever did, though. I mean, I wanted to buy my freedom and have the freedom to pursue adventure. So I did a lot of traveling. I motorcycled around the world. Done a couple of those trips, and then the car trip around the world. Oh, we were held hostage. We went through epidemics. We went through wars, blizzards, and deserts. This was not a trip to Atlantic City for the weekend.
You did what most people dream about doing, but they could never afford it, and they could never do it.
The last leg of our trip, in fact, we were coming down from Alaska. We were in Palo Alto, and a guy came running over to us and said, oh my God, this is my dream. He's about 45 years old. He said, I've always wanted to do this, and now you've inspired me. I'm going to do it too. Then he looked at the car, and he said, well, that's a two-seater, isn't it? He said, yeah. He said, you mean 3 years side by side in a two-seater? You were never apart? We said, yeah. He said, my fiance and I set out to drive from Connecticut to California, and we hate each other. He said, we've never spoken to each other since. He said, that bitch got out in Denver, and I didn't even slow down.
How long would it take for you to develop ideas or put money to work? Someone wants to invest $5 or $10 or $20 million.
I mean, you wire me the money, I could have it in my brokerage account next day.
But you'll have the ideas to put it to work.
The ideas are always there. I mean,
they're deep enough.
Yeah, I mean, the ideas are there pretty much every few days.
Who have you targeted? Who your investor base?
I need rich individuals.
Yeah.
That's what I needed, and they're the hardest.
Well, you
to
need
find.
sponsorship. Most of the people I meet are long biased.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're the other extreme, and it's refreshing. We may have people that fit.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Great.
It was good
Thanks
meeting you,
for coming.
though.
You too.
Thank you. I think I got some money from him. I don't know. We'll see. He has my materials. He's talked to me on the phone before. He didn't remember, but this time he saw me in person, made my case. He seemed pretty interested. It could be BS, but I don't know. He's got access to so much capital. All I need is just a little bit of that. Just give me a little access, a little bit, a little taste of his money, you know, and I'm pretty damn happy right now, you know. I'm walking down the street. Everyone can sense I'm happy. So look at them. They're all looking at me. Why is he so happy? Why is he so happy? I'm happy. I am. So.
You ain't a celebrity.
I'm a celebrity in a bit. I just got $1 million.
September 16th, 1920. It was a bustling morning on the exchange. Just before noon, a horse-drawn wagon pulled to a stop right here on the corner of Wall Street and Broad. Moments later, the wagon blew sky high. The massive explosion killed 40 and ripped into the house of Morgan. You can still see the gouges in the limestone facade.
It is like in a movie.
This is the secret door.
What do you think is the one thing that made you so successful?
I guess it's probably just being skeptical and curious and inquisitive about what's going on in the world, and the willingness or the eagerness to look at things that other people don't look at. If something is very cheap, by definition, people probably are not very interested in it, and nobody's investing in it. And frequently, that's where you find your best opportunities. If there's a change taking place, you don't do it just because nobody's investing there. Commodities was a perfect example. At the end of 1998, everybody giggled when you said commodities or China. They were all drooling and talking about .com. Well, I was looking at commodities in China because I thought that's maybe where things were changing and where there were opportunities. So happens it was right.
So how do you see China's future?
Extremely bullish on the future of China, yes. The 19th century was the century of the UK. The 20th century was the century of the US. The 21st century is going to be the century of China, whether we like it or not.
Usually I'm in here an hour and 10 minutes before the opening so I can see what's going on in the financial industry in the rest of the world. We can no longer look domestically at the U.S. World events have placed a question mark on the stability of the U.S. dollar and the stability of the Western nations. NYMEX is the largest physical commodity market in the world. I mean, it's just not trading copper. You're trading dollars, you're trading different currencies. Energy has an impact on it. The stock market has an impact on it. And I have a broad array of markets to look at. You have to utilize all those tools. Right now, the demand for copper has been astronomical. Not so much from the US or Europe, but from the Far East. The growth of China, the growth of India, 2.5 billion people living in a part of the world that was third world. Right now, everything that China and India produces, most of it goes to exports. You got to think, though, what's going to happen when they become the consuming nation? When they start consuming their own products, what happens to the raw goods then? Will there be enough copper in the world? Will there be enough zinc and lead and tin in the world? I mean, this is what makes commodity trading so interesting. This is why every day it's a different ballgame. It's never the same.
Are you Muslim?
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Where are you from?
London originally, but I'm Pakistani. Sometimes when they hear my accent, they think I'm new and they'll take me around the whole block and run up the meter. And then if they're like either Pakistani or Indian, then it's like, oh, you must know so-and-so in London because I'm related to him. Either that or they'll try and get me married to one of the sons and we're like, you know, I have a son. He looks around your age.
How far do you want to go?
This is perfect. I love New York. I've always believed that the city's paved with gold. So much opportunity and it's up to you to grab it. I feel like I was very sheltered when I moved in. For me personally, I've grown, definitely, and I've met fantastic people here. My mother just about has got to grips with what I do. When I first started, she's like, you know, when you made a bit of money, you should just leave. Don't get too greedy. You know, that will change you as a person. And she's right.
So this is gonna be my new neighborhood. I just signed a lease the other day for a small apartment, an old townhouse built in 1899. I'm looking forward to it because this is definitely a transition for me. Not so much late night partying, more just focus on the business. You know, I'm not really fitting into the corporate structure of investors because they have their little check boxes and, oh, he's under 40. Psh, there goes my chance at getting money. Everything else doesn't matter. So I'm really gonna focus on individuals, high net worth individuals. Look at this. This is just, there's trees. I love trees. This whole period in my life is kind of crazy. You know, I've been managing the fund for a couple of years now. I've had some successes, some failures, but the key is that I keep learning. You know, I'm 25 years old. If I don't make a lot of money for the next 2 or 3 years, but I learn a lot, it's still a win. I could do this for the next 50 years. Great, thank you. I will. I'm pretty optimistic about my future. My organization's so lean, there's not a sense of urgency like there is for most hedge fund managers who have their employees' salaries, you know, the big office. I can wait out times when there's really not many opportunities. I just keep finding connections, keep building the track record. And I'm getting smarter, a little richer, a little fatter every single day. So not to be a cliche, but the future really does look bright.
After a lot of serious consideration, I have decided to leave my company that I've been with for 5 years. There are just so many things that I would like to do, so many ideas that I have that I would like to put into practice, that I have decided to go out on my own. Pretty much everything is in place. Essentially what I'll be doing is primarily raising capital for clients, and I think it should all work out very well. Wall Street has been a very enriching experience for me. I feel that I had the opportunity to grow a lot, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds. I just generally try to be happy, approach everything with a positive attitude. I think that's also one of the prerequisites for Wall Street. Make the most out of the opportunities that you have.
I love my neighborhood. I love it. I did the jig last time. You only get one jig per episode.
I tend to swear at times. Bollocks. Mother something I actually learned here.
The guy who has the best tan wins in life. Not the guy who has the most toys wins. The guy who has the best tan wins.
Oh my. Financial muscles, baby.
I have spent my working career on the trading floor. I like the excitement and the energy.
It's just a melting pot, and whatever your background was, it's can you make money, can you contribute to profitable ideas?
First thing you do, think you're dead. Then you concentrate on what you gotta do.
My name is Ted Weisberg, and I started working in Wall Street when I was 15 years old, summer jobs, and I became a member of the stock exchange in May of 1969. I've been here now 36 years. I've never had a 2-week vacation. What is challenging is that every day, absolutely every day is different. And it's always exciting. The environment is electric. My job description is really twofold. Number one is to try to add value to the execution process at the point of sale being the floor of the stock exchange and where a particular stock trades. And the second thing I do is that I gather information to help my clients make a trading decision. I work with my children who are now grown in their 30s. They are partners in our firm, and slowly passing the baton to the next generation, which is what my goal is, and hopefully it's their goal to stay here and take it to the next level, whatever that level might be. I am one of the luckiest people in the world because I've been able to spend my whole adult life in a work environment doing something that absolutely enthralls me and that I love to do, and I quite frankly can't wait to get here on a Monday.
My name is Parker L. Quillen. I'm a portfolio manager, so we manage hedge funds. Started my own company, QuillCap Corporation, which started in 1994. As a hedge fund, we can do things that your traditional mutual fund can't do. We can use leverage if we want to. Go and get a bunch more. We can short sell, which means you are betting on the security price going down. You know, there's not a lot of value added in that. People, I think, have mixed understanding about what short sellers do. And I think a lot of times they kind of see them as nefarious and dark sorcerers. But there's actually a public good, which is it brings ugly truths to the fore.
Parker makes the investment decisions. Mike, the doctor, helps with the analyses, and then I take care of the process of the trades and the accounting. It definitely has a lot of stress involved, though.
I mean, you'd rather have... What is most challenging about my work? It's a pressure when you're not performing well. It's hard to divorce that from your own psyche, and that can pollute everything in terms of relationships with your family, your kids, your peers. I mean, so you need to find ways to unwind and to separate from that a little bit.
My name is Larry Height, and what I do is I manage my money, another hedge fund's money. I hire only people that are better than me.
I was right, because you picked the one that I wanted you
I know,
to pick.
I reduce virtually everything to mechanics. Wall Street is a casino rigged in favor of the punter. It may look like I gamble because of what I do here, but it's not gambling. I'm the house, right? So I know the odds. And the benefit of Wall Street is you can count them. It's all in the numbers. It's every day people come in and vote. Dummies vote, smart people vote. People with good intuition, people with bad intuition. And it comes to a cumulative vote. What that vote is a record of how they feel. Maybe right, maybe wrong, but that's what gives you your opportunity. Well, I have bets all over the world. The idea is that no bet should hurt me, and the cumulative effect of all my bets will help me. And Wall Street is a great place because never have so many been paid so much for adding so little.
Flock to you, it's amazing. Nobody can bullshit as good as you. It's honest. I mean,
You're the
honest
snow queen.
engine.
You.
You.
Oh man, no.
My waist is so thin, you basically won't be able to see it.
You guys are sort of in the shop.
That's great.
I haven't worked out my bitch show.
You love your bitch.
I love them. America won't.
Okay, you want a break?
No.
Okay.
Steve, you're really lame. Come on, Steve. Come. Oh, annoying. Go faster. I
Come
can't
on.
get your horse to gallop.
Yes, you can. Whip them.
This is torture. Come on.
This is what you're doing for television.
You just won't.
Whip.
I never forget I bought a pair of Johnson Murphy shoes, I think that they're called, and they had tassels on it, and I lost $500,000 that day. And on the way home, I threw the shoes out the window of the car. And I've never worn tassels since that day.
And work with us! They don't understand. They don't understand. I'm a star. I'm a star.
Are you single?
Yes, I'm single.
I'm sorry. I was moving the camera when she said
I was very moved when I heard that too.
Why you were moved?
I need some liquor. Give me some liquor. I'll do something funny. If I have some drinks, you want me to get hit by this car?
Run. Oh, nice.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, buddy. Wow, that guy he's not a fan.
She's tough. She hits really hard too.
That's how she keeps us in line. She says, "What's that in your eye?"
I mean, this is a tax deduction. This is a home office. This is a true home office. I'm going to use this tape for the IRS.
I'm not. He's obsessed. I mean, purely. He always touch them. He always see the character, you know. He really obsessed with money. So, you know, we're trying to basically, for me, money is just a vehicle, you know, to live. Nothing else. For him, I was never like that. Money was never meant anything, I swear to God. Even when I was a kid. When my father used to give it to me, I would never care. He is different. He is different. He goes, he all the time see $100 bill. Let me see who's a character. Look at this.
No, I'm not looking at it.
Who's a character? What's his name?
I know.
If you know, you'll get it.
I know.
What's his name?
I'm Jackson.
You got it?
Yeah.
My name is Sandra Navidi, and I'm an attorney for a Wall Street firm, admitted to the German bar and the bar in the state of New York. I was hired by this company when I was still working in Germany for Deloitte & Touche in their International Capital Markets division, and I had a lot of interaction with big investment banks and New York Wall Street firms, and I started getting offers to come over here and work for them. They made me the too good to be true offer, so I decided to take that chance and come over. I have always worked on getting one degree up on another to show that I'm actually well accomplished. When I came over, it was right after 9/11. The markets crashed, and so I had to work very long hours. I mean, 12, 14-hour days were the norm. I was born in a small city in Germany as the child to a Persian father and a German mother.
When was the last time you were there?
I was 7 years old. Don't ask me how long ago that was. But I know a lot of Iranians, I know a lot of expatriates that I've met all over Europe and here in the States also currently. And I truly believe that they just have a crazy oppressive government, and expatriates are terribly embarrassed. I mean, I will say, though, that a lot of Iranians feel they don't understand how the United States can feel entitled to say that you may have an atomic weapon and you may not. And
Well,
they say we should have the right also.
Every time there's a new war and a new missile, the guidance system immediately goes from the Defense Department to the quantitative equity analysts. And they apply that same technology that guides a missile over mountains and valleys to guide a stock and try to anticipate what's in front of that stock or that missile. All of these guidance systems leave the Defense Department and go right to Wall Street. And they work until they don't work.
Staying in shape sometimes can be a challenge, especially due to the constant business lunches and dinners, and then also lack of time to work out. And that's the reason why I actually got a treadmill for my apartment. You can always squeeze in an hour, and you can't really make up an excuse. You just put on shorts and a ripped t-shirt and get on your treadmill, and you can watch CNBC.
My background is in mathematics and psychology, and astrology is a mathematical psychology based on astronomy. For example,
why is it psychology based?
Well, because it's called behavioral finance, which is a very big area. For example, if we were looking
But I thought you looked at the stars. Where does psychology come in?
Because it correlates the planets to human behavior. So we take data like this, for example, and we sort of trade accordingly.
Do people actually use astrology
Of course they use it.
and make investments? I mean,
You mean they don't?
Well,
I mean, people
I don't
do.
know anybody who at least professes to doing that. So
I know lots of people that profess to do it, but most of them don't want to do it publicly. But you can go back to people like J.P. Morgan, who was a well-known You had astrologers. I mean, and you look back early in that.
Wait a minute, Mr. Morgan used to use
Astrology, of course.
Really?
If you go over to the Morgan Institute, they'll tell you that. It's in the books. They think he was a little strange to do it, but Evangeline Adams, who made astrology legal in New York State, was his astrologer. In fact, she predicted the depression based on the horoscope of his son.
But how much of that is astrology and how much of that is really analysis?
Okay, first of all, astrology, financial astrology is a specialty area in the same way that medical astrology is. So you have to know finance and you have to know astrology.
So you can't really
For
answer
example,
that question with a
well, but not you can answer it, doesn't mean it's the accurate answer. You know, someone says there are two types of answers, accurate ones and just the ones I can give you.
Well, I am single, and I am dating. I just learned the American terminology, so I'm going out with, you know, prospects. It's really cold. First and foremost, I think that the Hamptons are extraordinarily beautiful. I love the fauna and flora here. Everything is so pretty and well taken care of. And being stuck in an office in New York all week long, I really enjoy the outdoors here. The beach is gorgeous, and there's so many things that you can do. The week was pretty stressful, the usual, but it was also busy because I saw friends, and I had friends in from out of town that I meet. And so coming to the Hamptons is a very welcome break. I have decided to open up my own business. It is very exciting for me. I have considered it for quite a while, and I think it'll be perfect for me because I can combine two different things. One is my product knowledge, and the other one is my interpersonal skills, and I think it should all work out very well.
My name is Guy Gerchik, and I'm the portfolio manager for a series of hedge funds. My fascination with finance probably started with my grandfather. He was an investor at age 14. This is long before the advent of the PC. I used to track everything on graph paper, and that's really where it began. You should wake up in the morning with an immediate feeling of dread no matter what. And that is simply because if you know what you're doing, you realize that it might be very, very fleeting. You've got to figure out what has happened since you went to sleep last night. You can't think as far out as 2 months, 2 years from now. It's irrelevant. We have to last to the end of today. A hedge fund is simply a private partnership or corporation, depending on whether or not it's in the United States or it's offshore, which invests for a particular purpose. For our purpose, we only invest in the largest 200 corporations that are traded in the United States. We are tempering our appetites from where we were originally, when we used to try to hit the ball really, really hard. Now we try to hit the ball really, really consistently, and still hard, but consistently hard. And that has led to above average performance that puts us probably at the very top of the food chain. We have an excellent opportunity to leg into positions that we want to take advantage of today. Part of the way that we are able to succeed here is in not being of the mindset that you need to be in the market every single day. Most of our peers are down over 2% for the month. That is because most people want to play. They want the ball and they want to be in there, and one day it's up and one day it's down. This is far more difficult to time than simply saying sell now, buy now, sell now, buy now. It's almost as though people are in a casino. They can't stop. They can't stop trading. They just want to play. I lost money all day long. let me trade in the aftermarket, maybe I'll make it all back.
We're out on all the longs. I didn't execute any of them. We just
I
got,
love that.
we just
Yeah,
got 30%.
there's a huge fade in
I only
here.
got 30% of the shorts on right now, so.
That's okay. That's okay. We don't need to be overly aggressive on
No,
this.
we have till 4 o'clock.
Right. This is an example of you really want to be in the game. Discipline tells you sit in your chair and don't do anything. The humility thing is really important. A lot of guys get themselves into a lot of trouble by starting to believe their own brand of BS. And you know, when I leave here at the end of the day, we are basically marking our portfolio to market, which means that we know at the end of the day whether or not we're right or wrong. It's not a question of smarts either. You know, there are lots of smart guys who just get ahead of themselves and think that they're invincible. Over time, you start to learn that you're going to be wrong, and this is a business of managing being wrong. Everybody's going to be wrong. No one's always right, and you're going to be wrong a lot. The question is be wrong small and be right slightly larger. See, that's why I told you to hold those longs, forget about it. It's death. No one needs a death sentence to begin the day. It's not simply just a question of watching what's actually happening. You have to have some thesis in the back of your mind of what the bigger story is. You know, the typical cocktail party question is, what do I do with my money now? And that's a very complicated question for people. You know, when do you need the money back? What's your appetite for risk? What do you really have as your objective in terms of what you want to earn? You know, clearly everybody's like, well, if we could double every 3 years, then clearly by the time we retire, we're going to have private planes. You know? It's at times fun to think in large numbers, but we have a responsibility. The way we do things, when we buy, we know when we want to sell. When you tell somebody to buy something, the problem is you are then responsible, if you're going to be right about it, to say, at this point you need to do the opposite. And a lot of times people don't want to hear that. So for us, I keep it very simple. If I am going to tell you what to buy, you need to be willing to listen that when I tell you to sell and not giving me an argument about it. Because we don't argue about it. When we want to sell here, we just do it. Hey, Chris. Come on over, man. You're dying out there. This photo montage is done by an artist friend of mine who took these photos looking back at the World Trade Center site on September 11th. That photograph is a constant reminder of the fact that we should never forget that it happened. My office was still downtown, and ultimately decided that I'd never go back to be down there, you know, to work, at least not then. It was the smell of everything burning, with burning tires and God knows what else. It was really, it was a very, very difficult place to have to survive, you know, but unfortunately the stock exchange had to open, and you're only allowed to keep it closed for so long simply because you don't want to create a liquidity crisis. By not allowing the markets to function, that affects a lot of people who need access to the markets, because it affected all the financial markets, not just the equity markets. You know, the losses for some of the firms was huge. Yeah, it's really, really sad. If something very bad were to happen, you know, we may not profit from it, but at least it wouldn't destroy us, which is really the whole issue of surviving for another day. You just have to be prepared for tomorrow.
I was born in 1971. At the age of 22, I came to the United States. First 3 years I spent as a cab driver. Then I got into the Wall Street, got my licenses, and I became a day trader. I come to the office, and that's basically where I do all the work. Your mind has to be clear before the morning. newspaper for day traders is already old news. That's what it is. Ну что, you ready for the school? Huh? My favorite movie is Jerry Maguire. And every time I watch that movie, I remember the one phrase. If nothing here, this doesn't matter. So I always say one thing. For me, the most important thing is it's actually what do you have with your heart. If you have excellent personality and you wake up in the morning and you say, you're not saying, I'm going to make money today. You're saying, I'll make sure I'm not going to lose. If you are above the zero, at any given moment, even a penny, you're above the zero. If you're below, you lost. So what I used to remember in the office, for me, I would rather make $300 than to lose $1. It means if I would be up, let's say, $1,000, it would always be a level where I would be stopped and take the money home. For me, this is a job. So it came out to the extent where since 1999, January, I went till today without having a losing months. People usually don't believe it. I have, every paper that I can prove to anybody ever that's every given month, I would take money home. It would be $1, it would be $500,000, it would be $30, or it would be anything else. What it means for me, this is a 24 hours a day job. Usually on the way to work, I don't even really like to listen to Bloomberg, reading the Wall Street Journal, for one simple reason. We're day traders, we need the quick information, we're not an investors, and we need to make it nice, quick, and simple. That's exactly what I do. So what I do, I actually try to trade something which is in the move. It's either up or down. I don't go into particular detail about the stock or anything, but if the gold or steel is in the move, that's exactly what I'm going to trade. When I teach the people, I always take one approach. I always try to figure out what's your niche. Everybody has a niche. For example, if you're a tape reader, that's how you trade, and it's your personality, that's what you have to learn. If you're a bottom picker, you're trying to pick the stocks which got down the most, this is a different style. If your personality is way too quiet, maybe you should not be a trader, you should be an investor. Because every minute you're going to see a stock moving fast up or down, it's going to create a huge fight inside yourself, and you probably want to get in.
All right, I got both eyes open.
People ask me, how did I succeed? I think personally, everything depends on how well you do in your job. When I was a cab driver, I used to work 20 hours a day to make a good living. I drove a lot of people from Wall Street. They always was saying, the guy said, I finished the college, made it $500,000. So I said to myself, I'm driving a cab, making decent money. I mean, what's the difference between me and another guy? Usually, we're immigrants. We work harder than anybody else. I had a person who basically finished the Columbia with a GPA of 4.0, and my former boss just recommended the guy. He said, you should love that guy. The guy is so smart. So the person sat down with me. He sees a trading, making money, and he asked me a question. He said, can I succeed in this business? I said, let me ask you a question. How long will it take you to make a decision to buy or sell stock? And the guy had a degree in math, and he said, 2 minutes. I said, you would never make in this business. And he said, why? I said, because this is a fast making a decision. This is like a police. You either take a shot or you're going to get shot. There's 1,000 people come in the day trading industry who wants to become a day trader. There's maybe out of 1,000, there's 50 who left. For one simple reason, not everybody can survive. I always say one thing, not everybody can make millions. Some people are just there. I have a lot of friends who's making $50,000 a year, and they're as happy as I am. They have a smaller apartment, they don't need a big house like I do. They always tell me, Alex, what, we don't need a Mercedes. We have a Jeep Cherokee. I have a friend who's making $35,000 a year, and he's happy, he goes on vacation. We'll go to different places, I might go to France, and, he'll go to Dominican. I'll spend $2,000 a day, and he's going to spend $200, but we're all happy. So all I'm saying, we're all at a different level, but at the same time, happiness, it does not describe as a money amount.
There's a whole Wall Street culture of the people that are brought up in the corporate training program to being bitches the first few years and then making a lot of money, then making partner eventually. I don't know any of that, you know? All I know is I see it from the outside and it's ugly. That's the beauty of running a hedge fund. I am not a part of Wall Street. I'm on the outside. I am clearly on the outside. I can't even raise any money from the other outsiders. If there's an outside, I'm on the very last post of the outside.
And what do you invest in? What's your strategy?
Short selling, short bias, small cap, micro cap. It's not a very scalable strategy. You know, that's why I've had problems raising money, because I mean, I'm never going to be more than a $100 million fund.
How many assets under management do you
3
currently
million right
have?
now.
3 million. So you're basically looking to raise another 97 million.
Exactly. Not all in
Okay,
one.
good.
Not
Now
in
you
all
have
one block. Don't offer me 97 million, because I'll say no.
Okay, but you don't have an office. You work from home.
I work from home.
Would you say you have a big ego? As big an ego as most people have who are very successful on Wall Street?
No, definitely not. I mean, I'd say my ego is rather well-sized, well-endowed. Boom.
I think it was a very interesting meeting. It was definitely different than the usual ones just because Tim is very young and has an unorthodox approach. But I'm impressed with his performance, and you can't hold the age against a person. I just have to do a little more due diligence. He definitely seems talented, that's for sure.
Everyone says I'm crazy to be a short seller and to be doing this because my returns have been somewhat volatile. But I mean, I explain what I do, and there really is just so few takers. It's pretty incredible. This company is breaking out of a huge basing pattern over the past, 6 months now. This stock shouldn't go down at all. This should be the single strongest stock in the market because it has everything going for it. I think I had a lot of luck. Luck had a huge part to do with that. I mean, luckily, I was in the greatest boom of the 21st century right when I had money to invest. So I was at the right place at the right time. And I mean, a lot of people made money, but a lot of people made money and then lost it. I was lucky enough to actually have a nice learning curve where right when I made the money, I got very scared. And right when I got scared, the market tanked. So it was luck. Then I started getting more and more into it and just researching the companies. And it kind of surprised me that some of these companies were getting raided by the FBI. And I just thought, wait, this isn't normal. Companies shouldn't get raided by the FBI. Maybe something's wrong here. So that led me into the whole short selling discovery. And it's much nicer to be short these companies because a lot of them are frauds and scams and just not quality companies.
How are you picking some of these stocks like this morning you were trading?
Every single night I just perform technical screens looking for expanding volume, expanding volatility. A few of my friends have tried to do this. It didn't work out so well for all of them. And then they just decided to give me money to invest on their behalf, and that's how I actually got into the hedge fund formation because I was kind of actively trading for all these people, and compensation was just tough. I mean, if I made a good trade, they would take me out to dinner, you know. But if you make somebody $7,000 and they take you out for a $100 dinner, you think, wait a minute, this isn't right. So it kind of gave me the reason to start a formal company.
Bull, bear, do you care about the market environment? Do you do better in one or the
No,
other?
I mean, I prefer world disasters. You know, world disasters
give you more opportunities.
As bad as it sounds, yeah, they're opportunities. Yeah. The Asian tsunami,
right.
There were a dozen stocks that benefited from that.
Right.
All were bullshit. It doesn't really feel that bad to lose $3,600. I mean, you take the emotion out of trading. If I was up 30 grand or even down 30 grand, you really don't feel it. You feel much better about playing a trade well than about making money and playing a trade poorly. Because playing a trade well means that you're learning, you're getting better. This whole thing is a process. I've been doing this 8 years, I still don't know what the I'm doing, as that trade just proved. Just a stupid mistake, and it's bush league. Bush league, that's what it is. 90% of traders lose money, and 99% of short sellers lose money. So the odds are against me, which is nice. I like that. So I'm kind of doing something that not a lot of people can do. This whole thing is so all about psychology. You know, if you've had 12 winning days in a row, you should stop trading, or you should take some small losses just to get your head back in the game. It's like trying to pitch a perfect game, and you just screw up.
Well, we've known Tim since we've been in New York. He's a great guy.
Very smart.
Good dancer. Good dancer, he is. Those Wall Street boys can dance.
All right, so this kid's girlfriend, him and her, they're having a big fight, right? All night she calls. Maybe, what, 7 times, 8 times? At this point in my career, I was not wise enough to have an alarm clock. So I would just get up every single morning. But unfortunately, on this lovely evening, with this girlfriend calling all the time, I didn't get much sleep and I overslept. And I had $200,000 positions overnight. And I lost about $18,000. I fully blame his ex-girlfriend on this.
But
Fully blame, 100%. This is a little shirt I made my friend Schmitty. This is her name. The reason why I call her Schmitty, as you can read, walking around barefoot in New York City is just what I do. But I spelled what wrong because I was drunk when I designed the shirt. So it's walking around barefoot is just what I do.
Perfect.
So
you are documenting the early stages of a Wall Street tycoon. So this footage that you're having is really going to be very valuable. It's going to be shown for years.
boom! Oh, Mr. Zimmerman hits it a little left, but we can see the ball. Oh, no, now we can't. Oh, look at this.
What club is that?
Wait, let me see your back.
Leave me alone. Finance world's gonna be proud of me.
4.
Yes, Mom. Timmy, move. I don't want to hit your head.
Nice.
Off the tree?
Off the
and
tree.
onto the green. That was awesome.
Make this putt and you're a legend.
Oh. Wow, the divot went farther than the ball.
They're not gonna like that. That's why people don't lend me their clubs. Look at that hook. Right down the center of the fairway.
It's raining divots.
Serve it. Give me the club.
Oh! So wrong. That was so wrong.
I see my ball. What are these things? These are like mini ostriches. Quiet ducks.
Oh, that's gross! Look how gross! It's like green out. Oh, and it's like sucks in. It's like a horror movie. It's like a horror movie in there. Oh my God.
What is this place?
Oh God. There's a floaty.
That's it. I don't care. I'm doing it. Oh fuck!
Oh, what's in there?
Nasty. Oh, it smells like. I think this is the sewer. Dude, there's in there.
No!
Now you're in there. Now you know.
Are you serious? Go away.
You got some on you now. I got my ball. I'm playing it from there. Not hitting it in the water again. There was feces in there.
There's a story about an oil prospector gets up to St. Peter to the gate. St. Peter says to him, "You know, Jake, you really have led a good life. And we would normally take you in, but we have enough oil prospectors. It's full." Jake says, "St. Peter, would you just give me 5 minutes? 2 minutes, I'll clear that." And he goes, he opens the door, and he says, "There's oil down in hell." Bunch of oil prospectors come rushing out of the gate of heaven and empties the place totally. Peter says, "Well, Jake, I guess we have room now." He said, "Actually, I'm not going." I said, "Why?" "Well, if all those people are going down there must be something to it."
When I was a trader, we used to dare each other to do things, and we ponied up about $1,500 and dared this guy to stay in the office over a 3-day weekend and defy the motion sensors. And he did it. He stayed in the office for 3 days, living off the leftover bagels, and somehow didn't set off the alarms. So Tuesday morning, he was there, greasy and hungry, and $1,500 richer.
Wall Street. The name derives from the fact that Dutch settlers in 1652 constructed a crude wall of earthwork and timber straight down this street. It was ostensibly meant as a defense against northern attack, but it was actually used to keep the colony's black slaves from escaping. When the British took control of the settlement, they dismantled the wall in 1699. Then the Americans dismantled the British in 1781. It's a good thing too, or else the stock exchange may not have been built, and I'd be out one sweet-ass job.
This is before cell phones. I was at a Boston conference, and a company was giving out some projections or something of that nature. And it clearly was something the street hadn't expected. And so this one woman ran out of the auditorium where the lunch presentation was taking place, went to the phone, it was in a hotel in Boston, went to the little phone sitting on the table, made a call to her trading desk, sell 100,000 in XYZ or whatever. And then when she hung up the phone, she ripped the phone out of the wall so nobody else could make calls. And that's the key about Wall Street. It's not what you know, it's what you know relative to everybody else.